All right. It is Feminine Friday, y'all. Welcome back. We should not have to do that again. We should be okay. We should not have to do that again. I had to move rooms. I had to get some other things in order, but we are ready. That should be the last time that we have to hop off and hop back on live. Today we are going to be discussing Feminine Friday. So Feminine Friday is a new session that I'm going to be doing where we're basically going to be uncovering the blocks that we face in femininity. We talk about these things all the time. This is the last time I'm hopping off and hopping back on, y'all. I had to get my environment together. I had to get some things in order. But we're here now. We're good. It's Feminine Friday. We have a special guest today. Michaela is going to hop on in just a minute, and we're going to talk a little bit about finance. And a lot of people don't understand the connection between the two, but we'll talk about that very briefly as well. One of the things that I talk to women about is when you are in a cycle of self-sabotage, when you're constantly putting yourself in a position to not do better and you can't figure out why, it's a connection or some type of missing piece in you not taking better care of yourself. So you're either not respecting yourself, and when it comes to finance, it means that you're not respecting your future self. You're not saving, you're not taking care of your budget, you're not seeing that your dollars are working for you, you're just living in the now. And so, of course, that'll make you feel disconnected and you won't be able to do the things that are necessary for you to grow. So Michaela's going to come in and she's going to give us 5 steps to stop self-sabotaging in that way in the sector of budgeting and finance. But I just wanted to talk to y'all about that really quickly. Hey, Michaela. So let me see. I don't know if we need to do... Yes. Perfect. This is how it's supposed to show up. I don't know why the past few times I've been going live with people, it doesn't show up this way.
Hey girl.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well. Y'all, it's also Michaela's birthday. Happy birthday. Wish my
Thank you,
girl a
thank you,
happy
thank
birthday.
you.
She decided to join us on her birthday. I was like, we don't have to do it today. She was like, no, I want to. So it's her birthday and she is spending the afternoon of her birthday with us. So we are so appreciative.
Yes, girl. I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah, I was telling everybody what you're gonna be talking about today. So y'all, Michaela has very young, right? But has lived enough life and has enough experience to really talk about these
Thank
things.
you.
So a little bit about my girl. She's recently married. She can also talk to you about budgeting and finance when it comes to your wedding planning, when it comes to having a baby, being a new mom, navigating that space. She's also a very successful content creator, so she knows a lot about, she has a post where she talks about how to prepare your finances when it comes to the content creator stuff, because not all that money goes to you and you can't be spending it all without thinking that you have to account for it, right? So she's going to walk us through the 5 ways that we can stop self-sabotaging in our finances. I'm so excited to start this conversation. So I'm going to turn it over to you. We just do a little back and forth banter. Y'all feel free.
Of course. Yes. Yeah, we're super excited. This is the first Feminine Friday. This is for the girls. This is for all the girls, just to help y'all, pour into y'all, like all the wisdom and the advice that we have through the years. We just want to pour back so that you guys can take like half the time that it took for us to learn these lessons. So that's why today we're going to get into the finances. And I want to say this because, like, yes, we're both married girlies now. We're both moms. But even in our single season, there are certain things that could be done. And for you too, if you're in your single season, that can be done, that can help prepare you so that when you walk into these other seasons and you say you want to have a family, let's be real, babies cost, families cost, everything. Like, you have to be prepared. So and you know, it's about stewardship. It's about God can definitely give us what we need, but for that increase, like he's entrusting us to take care of the small. So if we're, you know, as the years go by, we just have to really steward it. So,
Yeah.
all right, y'all, we're going to get into, I think it's financial tips to avoid, basically like to just not set yourself up for failure as a woman.
Avoiding self-sabotage, girl.
Yes, self-sabotage. Okay, so we don't want to sabotage ourselves. We don't want to sabotage our pockets. I know today is Black Friday. There's like a million sales that are being thrown at you all day long. But if you're thinking ahead, if you're thinking about 2026, if you're already kind of in that mind frame of like, what am I trying to get accomplished next year? Then you're probably thinking about your finances too. So we just have a few tips that I feel like will really help you guys. The first one, if you feel like your finances is all out of whack, like you're just like, girl, I don't even know where to start. I don't know how to budget. I don't know. I just know that I don't want to be where I am today. If you're sick and tired of being tired and you want to be in a different position and you don't know how to get there. So the first thing I would say, assess the mess. So I always tell this story, but when I was in college, I was blowing through money. I got my first credit card, maxed it out, boom.
Are we all?
And just on stupid stuff, just going out to Olive Garden and Chili's every Tuesday, And so, yes. So I remember the first time I ever printed out my bank statements, y'all. I looked through there and I realized I had spent over $700 in eating out for the month. It was just me, no kids, no husband, little old me. And I said, oh no, this is where all my money is going. So if you can relate, let me know. Just put some food emojis in the chat. Okay, if you've been guilty too, put some food emojis in the chat.
Put my emojis in the chat.
Girl, that food would get us. So anyways, I always say, but the first thing I had to do is print out my statements and assess the mess. I was in a financial mess. I was trying to figure out where my money was going, why I was always broke the next day after I got paid, right? Where's the money going? So the first thing you want to do is take a look at your finances. Yes, print out the statements. Like the avoidance of like, I'm just not going to check my bank account is not going to make a difference. And if anything, I'll say this, when you do check your bank account every single day, you tend to make more wise decisions. You tend to like say, okay, today's a new day. This is what I have. And this is what I can spend. But if we just ignore and start swiping and think that it's just going to like magically grow, that's not exactly the case. So first things first. Yes. First thing first, if you haven't checked your bank account, if you haven't looked at your statements, what you want to do is get those statements printed out. And you also can, well, we'll get into that later, but we'll talk about automations as well, because there's a way for you to automate your finances once you get everything under control. So yes. Michon, what do you have for this?
Assess the mess, girl. So when you said print the statements, let me tell y'all how in your head, this is why you have to print the statements. I just want to add to what Michaela is saying, because you'll tell yourself, okay, she noticed that she was spending $700. So let's say you're like, okay, I'm just not going to eat out anymore. I'm just not going to look at it. It's fine. I don't need to do all these extra steps. That $700, you're going to start spending it on something else because you're not assessing the mess and actually looking at it. So in addition to when you print the statements, you might find, like for me, it was the coffee. And we've had this conversation before, y'all. That $5 coffee every day, girl. So you outline that, but then you also find other things that are coming up. Like maybe you're spending frivolously on shopping. Maybe you're spending frivolously on like the little clearance section in the store. Every time you go to the store, you're like, oh, let me go see what's on sale. In this little $5, $10 here. And when the reason that this is important, y'all, I promise, is not about don't spend your money on anything. But when you're spending $700, $800, $900 on random things, you will find yourself being like, dang, that's money I could have spent to get my hair done. I actually want to do that. That's money I could have spent to get my nails done. That's money I could have spent to fix something in my house. But you can't know that if you don't sit down and assess the damage. And I'm telling you, so many of us will say, how many of y'all have said like, oh, it's just not enough money, right? It's just not enough money. It's just not enough money. We've all been there until you actually look at how much money you spend that you say you don't have. And if you're spending $700, hey, Jarnay, if you're spending $700 on food every month, what do you mean you don't have the money to do other stuff? And so what she's saying about assess the mess, it's so important to look at it, call yourself out, be aware of it, and highlight all of those other things, because then you can say, okay, I have $700, $800 that I'm spending frivolously, but I can take this $700 and you know what? These things that I'm depriving myself of, I might be able to have enough money to do that, and I have enough money to save. So wholeheartedly agree. I think we've all been there. I've definitely been there. Like you said, college days, you kind of get a little irresponsible. Mm-hmm. And I remember I had a job too, and I was an RA, and it was just like, oh, I got all this money because I ain't got no real bills.
No bills.
Don't fall into the trap. Do not fall into the trap. And to add to what you said too, it doesn't go away when you don't look at it. It gets worse, because what you're doing by not looking at it is you're probably not paying attention to, you're probably paying the minimum balance. You leave that balance on that card, it's accumulating interest. And so now you're paying, you owe more, and you're going to find it harder and harder to climb out of that debt that you've created just by being frivolous with your spending instead of being more intentional. So I'm so glad you said that.
Absolutely. You definitely have to see where you are. Sometimes you can assess it and like you think you're doing worse, but you actually are in a good place. You just kind of have to redirect things.
Yeah,
I remember I had a client and she was like, I can never save any money. Like I never had money left over. Once we went over and made a budget, she's like, I have an extra $1,200 a month. Like, where is it going? She had no bills. She was living with family. And once she fixed that, then she was able to move out and go live in her dream. She moved to Hawaii, y'all. Moved out, within a few months and was able to start her life because she started to like realize like actually I do have money. I just was just spending it on small stuff that really didn't matter as much as the bigger goal, which was she wanted to move to Hawaii. So now, Michonne mentioned about debt. So the next thing we want to get into is damage control. So stopping the bleed.
All right, y'all, type in stop the bleed. I'm going to put the steps in so that as people come in, they can kind of scroll up and see what we're talking about. But y'all just go ahead and type that.
Yes, stop the bleed.
That's the mess.
Stop the bleed. So once you find out what that thing is, you got to stop it. If it's draining your pockets and it's making you run out of money before you get paid again, it's making you go into debt, it literally like the behavior has to stop. And so for me with eating out, what I started to do is obviously, as you can imagine, I started to eat at home. I remember when I got serious about my finances and I was working extra and building up and saving a bunch of money, I literally ate home food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I would pack my lunch and my dinner and bring it to work. Like I was so serious. Like you have to kind of do the opposite. And it's not saying that forever, like forever I can't eat out anymore and forever I can't do this and that. But where you're trying to go, like it takes a certain amount of focus and it takes, I want to say like velocity, like not speed, but like the concentrated, like straight direction of actions that are going to like really get you out of that hole. I'll say another few tips. Those cards, if they're on Apple Pay, if you just tap, 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 take the cards off Apple Pay. If the credit cards are on Apple Pay and it just makes you spend so much, take them off. Like remove them from those easy ways. You have to kind of start to like create friction for yourself, right? The friction is going to help you basically think twice and be like, oh, well, I have to go out of my way to go get my card now and really think about like, do I really want to buy this or am I just being impulsive? So when we have all these systems where it's just so easy, like a click of a button and we just have something at our doorstep, right? It makes it easier to buy. That's why they do it.
Who uses Apple Pay? Who here uses Apple Pay or like, what's the other one? Any type of digital wallet, any type of one-step system that is very easy. You don't even have to pull
Amazon has a one-tap buy system as well.
If you use that, just say me. Go ahead, keep going. I just want to, because I know this is not just an isolated issue. This is not a handful of people. Most people are doing this.
Yes. And that's just because that's what's available to us. Like they make it so easy. So you kind of have to like really fight it. You have to do the thing that is going to put up the friction for you so that you can think. Because if you think about it, Michonne knows and she could talk to you guys about the cash budget, about how when you carry around cash, you think twice because now you're having to hand over your money. You see the money, the physical money leaving your hands. I want you to talk about that a little bit, but you taught on that.
And look, and Britt said, my bleeding is cash advances. It's a constant cycle. And you get fees for that. You get fees for that.
You do.
I think a big part of that, and I'll go into the cash budget. I don't know how long y'all been following me. I have this, my daughter has one of them now. I had this booklet. I wanted to save $5,000 and I knew that it was possible, but I didn't know how. But I was like, just like Michaela was just saying, how sometimes it's about this velocity, this concentrated effort to do the thing. Hey, Tiara. I was like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to have this thing and I'm just going to put the cash aside. I didn't pressure myself to do it any specific way, although I said I want to save $5,000 in 84 days. I never said this is not possible, even though I was like, I don't know how, right? But every time I had extra cash, I would just put it in there. And a lot of people, you have to know yourself, because there were people that say, girl, if I have cash, I'm going to spend it. I'm going to spend it. Not me. Not me, okay? So here's the thing. When you do have the cash and you're putting it somewhere, it really is heartbreaking to be like, oh, I'm just going to take this and go buy some shoes. You're going to take it to go do what? It better be something meaningful. And then after a while, when you start to have it, because I was putting cash in that thing every single day. So I would go to the bank and I was very diligent about what I was doing with my money. But then I was like, even if it's just $1, even if I'm putting $1 in here, if it's just $5, it doesn't have to be huge. I was putting money in that booklet every single day. And so the temptation to spend it, it's like, actually, no, I want to see my $5,000. I'm not going to spend this. But I do think that it's something to be said about physically handing your money over, because imagine you have $100 and you go, it's $100 bill. When you break that $100 bill, your mind is already like, man, I just spent some money, because now you get change back, and now it's not 100. You got a few pennies, some coins, and whatever, and now you're realizing my money is decreasing. When you're swiping, baby, unless you're checking your account right after each purchase, which a lot of people are not doing, you just swipe. And that $5, you can go out one day and be swiping, and you didn't swipe $300. Excuse me?
Easily.
What? But when you're handling cash, you can see it. And I know a lot of people don't, but I know a lot of y'all don't like to do the extra step. One of the things that a lot of people told me when I was doing the cash booklet to save, I don't want to keep going to the bank. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But it's like Michaela said, sometimes inconveniencing yourself on that front end is what's going to help you to get to that goal. Because me, if I would have said, oh, I don't want to go to the bank, I would have never put the money aside. Because being honest with you, I was not the girlie that was sliding money into my savings account. I was not doing that unless it was an automation. And I wasn't really privy to the fact that you can do that back then. So I was using the cash. I was inconveniencing myself, getting the cash, and then doing what I needed to do and putting that money aside in that booklet. And that little inconvenience is how I was able to save the $5,000 in cash in 84 days. And I'm telling y'all, it's not because I was rolling in dough. I just started doing it. And so my brain was like, girl, we on this mission. We about to figure it out. So I started finding ways, and I started thinking about things. I started thinking twice. But I didn't buy coffee outside that whole 90 days, girl. It was a drought.
Right.
Because I kept thinking, why would you keep giving these people $5? That's $5 you can put in your booklet. And that's half the money. I'm telling y'all, $5 every day on coffee is like $200.
Yeah, it can add up.
Like, I mean, that's not half the money. That's a significant amount of money in that time, right? So $200 closer to my $5,000 goal if I stop doing this. It costs, what, $10 to get your coffee stuff and make it at home?
Oh, yeah. And that'll last you for a whole week, a whole 10 days. Plus, let's not sleep on at-home coffee. At-home coffee is good. If you know the right mixture, it is way better than eating out coffee. I'm going to just say that.
And I'm a coffee concentrate girl now, so I spend like $20, and it's a little bottle. That coffee concentrate is so strong, you just need like a teaspoon to make your coffee. I kid you not. And that, it saves you money, it saves you time, it saves you energy. Quick coffee, you got to worry about all that. But yeah, y'all, go ahead. I'm going to turn it back over to you to stop the bleed. And
yes. So if y'all remember what number 2 is, put it in the chat so that we can all make sure we're on the same page, because we can't get to number 3 without number 2. So we started with 1, assess the mess, 2, blank, and then we're going to get into number 3.
Yeah, I do know, Tiara, you love your coffee.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So number 1, go ahead. If you got your notebooks, write this down. I'm going to write number 1, assess the mess. Y'all go ahead and type in number 2.
Hi, Day.
Has it. And as y'all are coming in, y'all can scroll up to see what we've been talking about.
Yes. Okay. So number 1, assess the mess. 2 was damage control, also known as stop the bleed. Yep. And then number 3 is create a new system. So creating a new system essentially is AKA creating a budget. Now, there's so many different ways to create a budget, and I probably want to say my favorite is the zero-based budget system, which is allocating all your money to a certain place. But either way, if you choose the 50-30-20, or you do the zero-based budget, or whatever you choose something to stick to. But not only that, like, be willing to commit to it for some time so that you can see the difference. So that you can see the difference as well. So budgeting is really not the bad word that we kind of make it sound. It's like, oh, we got to get on the budget. I remember when my mom, she had gone through like a layoff one time, and I was just the spoiled kid who always had whatever she wanted. And my mom, she's like, no, we got to get on the budget. I said, a budget? That mean I can't pick up whatever I want and put in this basket? What you mean? So for me growing up, it was like a budget is like a bad thing. But a budget is really not that. It's just really telling your money where you want it to go. Being in control of your own finances, right? So after your tithing and you listing out all of your expenses, your fixed expenses, and then your variable expenses, it's really just saying, hey, every single month, this is my plan. And we always talk about, you write the plan. What's the Bible verse in Malachi?
Oh, let me look it up. I thought
Y'all
you
know
were
what I'm
about to
talking
say,
about.
I thought you were about to say man makes the plan, God laughs.
Oh, that's a good
That's
one
what I
too. That's
thought
a
you
good
were
one
about to
too.
say.
Um,
Go ahead, I'm pulling it up.
I think write the vision, make it plain. Yep, there we go. There we go, Malachi.
By right,
I think
no.
it's Malachi 2. Yes. So obviously, having the plan is the first step. Like, we don't just get to where we want to go without making a plan first. And so, yes, you got it, Dave. So, without writing it out, it's kind of like you're just going on a whim and you really don't know what's going on. If it's not written out and you haven't planned it out, then you can't keep yourself accountable. If you say, I'm going to spend X amount and then I'm going to spend money on all my bills and then I'm going to save X amount, if you never made the plan, then how do you know like that you did it? There's nothing holding you accountable. There's nothing to keep track of. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can budget. I'm going to just start listing off a few apps. So write in the chat, are you a digital girly or are you a physical handwritten budget girly? Because I'm going to go over some resources for both and some free resources at that. So if you're the digital girl, you have a few different options. So there's obviously the free Every Dollar app. That's the one that's going to give you the zero-based budget. It's going to help you allocate every single thing according to your income and put them in different buckets. And so every single dollar has to be allocated for. Even the extra $20, $50 that are left at the end of the month and you don't know what to do with it, put it somewhere. Give it to a tithe category, give it to somebody, put it in your savings, go spend it on something that maybe you actually do need, like self-care, something, put it towards something. Then you have other apps such as you have Monarch Money, which is really good for people that are married because you can combine everything. It'll like streamline all of your accounts into one big portal. You can see your investment accounts, your savings, everything, and it'll put everything in categories as well. Monarch Money is a really good one. There's another app called You Need a Budget. And let's see if there's any more. And there's Mint Finance as well. You guys have probably heard of Mint. That's also an app. So I don't see it in the chat. Do you guys like digital or physical?
I'm physical,
You're
definitely. A
physical?
lot of people like digital. I'm a physical girly.
Yes,
I
yes.
like to write it out. I like to have I don't even like audiobooks. I want the book
You
in
want the
my
physical book. I feel you. Tell us how you do your physical budgeting, Michonne.
old school. Write it out. I tried, y'all. I really tried to do Excel sheets and stuff. I cannot. And when I tell y'all, it's not even super fancy. There's a way in your notes app where you can open up a box, a table, and you can expand that table. So if you go into that table, you're gonna do this however you want. But you have the bills that you have to pay, like all of your expenses. You have the money that's coming in. And with us, we have like regular expected income, but it's never the same amount every single month. Even with me doing content creation, it's like this. And sometimes there's a little bonus that I wasn't expecting. Sometimes there's a little something over here that's like, oh, okay. So it's really important for me to document that because what is it easy to do when you got extra money? Spend it.
Right.
You don't need it, spend it, girl. Just spend it on something. And so for me, I put it in those tables, and as the payments come in, we just log. Well, I log them on each appropriate. I'm trying my best to explain this, but I log it on each appropriate category, and then as the bill gets itemized, it gets paid, and it's like, okay, this was paid. This is how much came in. This is what was paid, and then this is what came in from this other category. And for me, that's just really easy. Even having a notebook. Oh, I wish I had it right here. There's this little blue notebook that I carry around, and that one doesn't have my full budget in it, but it tracks everything that came in so that when I sit down to do my budget, I have everything in one place. Because I promise you, if you have extra money, like all of your bills are paid and now you just have extra money, y'all, it is so easy, so tempting to be like, oh, well, I paid for everything. Let me just go and do this. And so you have to have, which is not a bad thing if it's something you want. And I know we talked about that book, I will teach you to be rich, where he says the bad thing is not to spend your money. The bad thing is people don't know how to mercilessly cut back on things they don't care about. So if you got all your bills paid, let's say there's $1,000 extra to account for to spend. You have that $1,000 and you're not telling it where to go. Your brain is just gonna make stuff up. You're gonna go impulse shopping. You're gonna be eating out. You're gonna be doing all kind of stuff, and then you're gonna be like, "Well, how come I didn't have money for my savings? How come I didn't have money to put towards this? Oh, I wish I had kept this money so that I could have done X, Y, and Z." And it's not even about always being strapped for money, because I think a lot of people their problem is not just that they don't have enough. Sometimes you have excess and you're mismanaging that overflow. So for me, I take all of the money that comes in and I write it down, and then I have columns in my notes that shows me, okay, this is what's due, this is how much needs to be paid, this is how much you had that came in. And then every month I'll say like what the deviation was, because like I said, it's not consistent. It's not a paycheck where it's this much coming in every 2 weeks. It's a little all over the place, you know, and sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes it's a little bit less. So it really does help to have all of that accounted for in that one space. It's old school, y'all, but it works.
It works. Just pick a system and try it for sure. And I also want to give you guys another hack. So who here, just put in the chat, say me. If you hate when like you pay a bill online and they don't take the money out of your account right away. So then you think you have more money than you do because you keep checking your bank account, and then you go spending the money on your debit card. And the next thing you know, they finally take the bill out, and it's just like your numbers are way off. You're like, whoa. I knew I had more money than that. Okay. We're in the same place. I'm about to give y'all a hack. So I used to work at the bank. I recently just left my job. And this is a hack that I had came up with. I had never seen anybody do it, but what I realized is that these banks will give you free debit cards. So I ended up getting 2 different checking accounts, 2 free checking accounts, and 2 different debit cards. And what I did, and this changed the game for me, like once I put this system in, I never had that annoying feeling anymore of trying to figure out, okay, I just paid this bill and now I got to figure out and calculate every time I want to swipe my card if the bill came out. That's just too much brain power. So you got a free bills checking account and then a free spending checking account, 2 debit cards. You're going to tie all of your bills to the bills account. And so when you get paid, if you're on like a biweekly paycheck or a first and the 15th, on your payday, you're going to add up all of the expenses that are coming out within those 2 weeks. Transfer that, make sure that's in the bills account. Everything else can stay in the spending account. And you don't use the debit card for your bills account. You leave that at home. You're going to take the spending debit card out and about. And that way, while stuff is coming out on auto pay, you already have allocated that money over. You don't have to remember that today is the 12th and I got to pay the water bill. No, the water bill's on auto pay. The money's already been moved over earlier in the month when you got paid. And now you can just focus on what's left on that spending account. So I did that 2 years ago, and I'll say it saves so much stress. And it also prevents overdrafts. The worst thing you can do, the banks are already rich. Let's talk about how the banks are already rich. The banks are rich, okay? And every time we don't manage our money properly and maybe have the money in the wrong account, we forget to transfer it over, and we're trying to remember things on a daily basis when we already have a million things to remember. We're making the banks richer. There's billions and billions. I'm going to look it up for y'all. I'm going to see how much money was made by banks in 2025 so far from overdraft fees, because they run it up off of a $29 fee for us not being prepared. Preparation.
2024, it was in the billions in overdraft.
Yep. That's why I said I'm about to look it up for 2025 because I already know it's high.
And to add on to what you said, y'all, you can have as many of these accounts as you want. Don't go crazy. But like you can have one for bills, but then you can also have something for separate subscriptions. And I agree that does take away, because how many times do you forget that you have these subscriptions and the fee catches you by surprise, right? But if you one time set it out with your budget and you know Apple is going to charge me this much, whatever your streaming services are, whatever your other things are, and you itemize all of those things, and like Michaela is saying, you switch them over, it really is helpful. And for me, even if you don't struggle with overdraft, just that constant wanting to know what's in your account. Because like you said, if the bill is coming out, I'm anticipating the bill coming out, but I'm also trying to see like how much do I have to work with. If you just separate those things to begin with, you will save yourself so much stress. And the only thing really that is to do it is to physically go in and separate it. But you can also automate those things. But I would say just make sure that you check it at the beginning of the month, because if you're automating it and maybe your bill is significantly higher this month, you want to make sure that the money is there.
Right.
Which you would have, it wasn't there. Now you got a fee, and right.
Yeah.
So you make sure that you're doing that too.
Of course. Yes. So of course the 2025 amount didn't come out yet. I tried to look that up, but 2024, $12.1 billion was made across banks from overdraft and non-sufficient funds fees. That is insane. That's just lack of preparation. Either that or having a lifestyle that is way beyond our means. in which we're just letting stuff overdraft and get kicked back, which at that point you're getting fees from the bank, but then you're also getting a late fee from the bill collector as well, because they're going to tack on a fee. So try that, you guys, if that's something that you are struggling with. Something else I wanted to mention. Oh, okay. Here's another hack. The avoidance of like not checking our bank accounts is really detrimental. It's almost like an out of sight, out of mind. We don't check our bank accounts and we don't know what's going on. And it's not just about keeping us in check. How about you keep the bill people in check too? They could be charging you the wrong amount. They could be double charging you for something. You could have gone out to a restaurant and you wrote a small tip of $2 and they didn't change it into 20. You have to check your books. Like, this is about accounting. This is about personal finance and accounting and making sure that things are correct. So if you don't want to log into your bank account every day, most banks have a feature where they will send you a text message every night at the end of the night, like 2 a.m., to tell you what your available balance is so that you can wake up and you can know this is what I have available for the day. So check out those notifications within like your banking app. I think that will also help us stay like aware and stay in the loop of what's going on.
Let me ask too, do y'all know what the fees are for each of these things for your bank? Like, do you actually know, because this goes with this avoidance category, do you know what your NSF fee is? Like, do you know the amount? Do you know the amount when you have returned items? Like, do you know what these things are? Because I also think, to go with what you said, Michaela, sometimes they will charge you a fee, but then the company also charges you a fee. Let's say your bill was like $70, and now you got hit with a $35 fee from your bank and a $25 fee from the company. So you paid your bill twice because you mismanaged your money. And so I think sometimes too, we're very passive about these things until we get hit with a hard and heavy realization of what the truth of the matter is. And if the truth of the matter is that you're paying twice for a bill because you're mismanaging your money, that alone is enough to make me want to call the bank right now and be like, open this separate account.
That's
right
it.
now.
So we can avoid it.
Yeah. Or cut something off, y'all. Cut something off. I'm going to tell y'all some poor girl hacks, right? And I shouldn't even call it that, but for lack of better words, let me tell you. Sometimes we live in a digital age and we feel like we need everything. You don't. You do not. There's this lady, she's a high functioning homeless person, and she calls herself that. Very intelligent. I've never spoken to her enough to know how she got in that situation. She has a phone, but the phone doesn't have service. She knows exactly where she can go to use internet. Why does she need a phone? She's like, nobody's calling me. I don't have any real bills. I just have this phone from when, she kept her phone. And when she got the phone turned off, she goes wherever she needs to go. And that's where I learned that hack, y'all, because y'all know I have a dummy phone now. So I learned that hack. I'm like, oh, girl, you have internet at the house. You got your dummy phone. If you're ever out and you need to use the internet, go somewhere that has service. So you have to make sure that also, if you have to make cuts, it's okay. Like, if you have to make cuts and allowances in the beginning because things are that tight, do whatever you need to do so that you're not struggling instead of trying to hold on to these things. Because for some people, that $100 a month, $200, whatever you're paying for your phone bill, that amount of money every month could be something that's a breaking point for them. And that $100 a month could be something that could be used for something else. So also think about, like, be realistic about things. She also has a gym membership. So that's where she showers, which is like, hello. And this is why I always say sometimes with money, it's about learning to be resourceful. This lady does not have a home. She has a gym membership. She has access to water. She can get fit. She can go in there and get a little massage.
Wow.
The internet there, right? And that's crazy, but she's being resourceful. So I just wanted to pass that along too. You said, and add $50 a week for her. Exactly. Now she has $50 every 2 weeks or whatever to play with where she can do other things. So she's not paying $100 for a phone bill every month. She also doesn't have all those other subscriptions that we have that are affiliated with having a phone sometimes, right? So I thought that was useful to pass along in this conversation. Oh, wait, your sound went out. I think she might have had a call come in. So, does anybody have any questions so far?
There we go.
Okay, no questions? All right.
All right, y'all. So we went over number 1, assess the mess. Number 2, damage control, stop the bleed. Number 3 was create a new system, aka budget. And then 4 is commit for 90 days. So we can't try something and say, okay, I'm gonna give this little budget thing a try for the next 2 weeks. Oh, it didn't work. Like, we have to commit. So committing for 90 days allows you to see if the system works for you. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that budgeting is not going to work for you. It just means try a new method. But be willing to say, I'm going to try this. I'm going to work the kinks out. I'm going to figure out how to make this system easier for myself. You know, be willing to like work with it. But because that's when you're actually really going to see the difference. When a few months in a row will pass by and then you'll say, wow, okay, I see now, like, how I'm managing my money. I see the daily decisions that I'm making. I see the difference in my bank account. Oh, wow, I have money left over every single month. Like, that didn't happen before. But that's because you're now aware. That's because you've now planned and you've said, this is what I'm going to do. So, yeah, that consistency is super duper duper important. And the small decisions matter. Like, we think that they don't. The quick, like, oh, let me just go over here and run over there. One of our really close homegirls, Jarnay, she always talks about being prepared when you leave the house. She is going to have a turkey sandwich with her. She not about to get wrapped up in a $15 drive-through meal because y'all know everything is high.
Yeah.
You can't go out to eat for one person for less than $15 anymore. It just doesn't exist.
And if you got the kids with you, that's not $15. It's about to be $25, $30.
That's it. That's it. So staying prepared, right? It's the small decisions and thinking ahead to say, oh, I'm about to go do this. I know I'm about to get hungry. Let me go ahead and eat before I go. Or let me pack something on the way. Let me bring a quick snack. Because if not, then, you know, we're just the small decisions. Imagine if you do that every other day. Now that's hundreds and hundreds that has come out of your budget when you know that you have other goals that are more important. It's not about just not eating out. It's about if you have other things that you're working on, if you're trying to move, if you need a new car, right? If you want to go on vacation, things that matter more to you, that is where like your money should be going more than just the small frivolous things that we want instant gratification about.
Right.
That's what it's about.
And remember, y'all, it's not at all depriving yourself. It is prioritizing. And prioritizing happens across the board. Across the board. She said, I wish I could play this whole thing back. Is there a way to record these? I need to figure that out.
I think we can save them underneath like the live thing. There's a way to save it, I think.
We're going to figure it out, y'all. But yeah, it's not about deprivation. And I think that's where we get into the trap where we feel like, oh, well, it's all or nothing. And remember, just let that float in your head. Cut back mercilessly on the things that don't matter to you so that you can spend more freely on the things that do. And so at any given time, we might have priorities. If you're saving for a car, you're not going to be saving for the car forever. So in this period of time, I'm saving for this car. And it's really important that I set aside this money to do that. And then once that period has passed, maybe the money that I showed myself I could save, I can say, well, okay, well, I was able to save $500 a month or however much a month. Let me see, I can keep up that practice, but now instead of saving for a car, I'm going to put it towards something else. And it really isn't. We think that this is such a restrictive practice. It's like imprisoning ourselves. It's not. Discipline is one of the most rewarding things, y'all. And this is something else Jarnay mentioned before in a video where she was saying a soft life is a structured life. And most people who want a soft life will never get it because they think that it's just cupcakes and rainbows. And even when I talk about dilly-dallying, I have the ability to dilly-dally because I live a structured life. I don't allow myself to fall into my excuses. I don't allow myself to lie to myself repeatedly about things. I keep my promises consistently, and then I work within that realm of, okay, what are we working on right now? What are we committed to right now? And I'm disciplined enough to keep those things going so that when I do have free time, I can use it how I want. I don't have to feel guilty. Right? If you do have extra money to go and do this thing and you already say, oh, if I have extra money, I'm going to buy that sweater. You can do it without guilt because there was structure. And a lot of times we get into this retail therapy because there's so much guilt in our lives for not doing the things that we're supposed to do. And we don't realize how, like, yo, not having enough money, it's hard to be feminine and soft and delicate and all of these things because I ain't got no money. I'm stressed out, right? And so this ties directly into our femininity. And I think that when we even talk about step 4, committing for 90 days, when was the last time you truly committed to something that you wanted to do? Before you said this didn't work, before you said, oh, it didn't cut out for, I'm just not made for that. Did you actually commit to it for 90 days, for 100 days, for even 30 days sometimes? So really asking yourself those tough questions and being accountable and not just writing it off because it's a little too hard. It makes you feel uncomfortable or whatever the case may be. This stuff really does work if you put it into place.
Absolutely. And like Michonne said, it does tie into femininity. And that's why also like it's important as a woman, like our budgets look a little different, especially if we're in our single season. Have that self-care budget, like allocate for the hairdo, because you know that we need to get our hair done. We need to get our pedicure every once a month or however much it's going to be. Put that in your budget too. So then you are feeling like as the month is going by, you're not depriving yourself. You're not neglecting yourself, right? Or even if the budget doesn't permit for you to go out on spend a bunch of money on your hair, okay, what can we DIY? What can we do at home for the time being? And like I said, it's always like the season that you're in, because in the future you may be able to go out and just go get it done. But like right now, if you're in that place where you're concentrating on something else, then yes, we're gonna do our hair at home. We're gonna wear our natural hair. We're gonna polish our own nails, but it's not a forever thing. But if you're able to add this is a good one. Add a self-care into your budget. Add a little section in there so that you can guilt-free decide to pour into yourself, because that is very important. Okay, Michelle, I'm gonna let you give me 1 second. I need to go check on the baby. I'll be right back.
Okay, so I love that Michaela brought up the part about being a DIY girly, right? This is what I'm gonna say. Don't let the internet and the pressure of people on the internet living their lives, whether it be performative or their true natural habitat, make you feel a way about what you're doing. Just because your favorite influencer content creator is doing all of these things and going to get this type of manicure, going to get this install, going to get this, going shopping every week, don't be a hater because you can't afford it. But also don't fall into the trap of thinking you have to do the same thing. You can appreciate their content, and if you're not strong enough to appreciate their content without becoming too much of a consumer, you need to stop following them. I will say that. But also, I say this too because it's really important that we understand the time and the space that we're in. Just because you see somebody else do something doesn't mean that you need to do it. You know your budget better than anybody. So if you know that your budget does not allow for you to take $150 every month and get, that ain't even enough, $200 a month to get your nails done, to get a pedicure, to get your hair done, that's about what it costs, for me at least. If you don't have the money to do that, go ahead and do those things at home on your own. And this is a learning curve, but guess what comes into place when you don't have the money? You need to have the time. Right? So if you don't have the money to pour into those things, now you need to learn how to do those things. You learn how to do your little press-ons, learn how to do the polygel, learn how to do your own install if you're wearing wigs, learn how to straighten your own hair, learn how to do your own roller set. These things are going to cost you time, but it's actually going to save you money and guilt if the money is actually not there. So a big part of this conversation too is to be resourceful, not being afraid to be resourceful. And I will say too, like, how many of us are DIY girlies? At least halfway. Because I am. And it's not, sometimes you do it so much and then you realize, like, is it worth the energy and effort of me dropping the kids off, going through all of this energy and effort just to go do it? Sometimes you do just, you're like, girl, I'm about to do it in the house. Right? Like, who here is doing their own hair, doing their own nails, makeup? I think most of us, nobody's really still going to get their face done unless it's an event.
Right.
Right? Because that's like $50 every time you want to get your face done.
Yeah, it's not cheap at all. That's something else. It's so funny you mentioned that. I think last month I was like, it'd be really nice if I go get my makeup done. And then I looked, I said, that's not in the budget.
It's not.
Baby, beat your face at home. Just do it yourself.
Go get
maybe next month. But this month, it didn't make no sense. I'm not about to put myself in the hole for a beat that's not going to last for more than a day.
And that's another thing, like thinking about the return on investment sometimes, right? So people always ask me, oh, can you do another haul? No, I can never give y'all a haul because I promise you I do not be shopping like that. This shirt is new and I have this dress that I purchased. And that was the only two things that I physically purchased with my money since April of this year. Anything else that I got that was clothing, it was gifted, it was something free, and it wasn't even a lot. But I tell people too, and I don't usually showcase those things because whatever, it's like loungewear. But I tell people that too, when you start to realize like there are certain things I just don't need to buy. And if I do well on making things that are good investment purchases, I won't have to buy it again. So if you buy the better quality products instead of always doing the fast fashion, which is cheap up front, but the $10 skirt is going to cost you $10 40 more times this year. Like,
yes,
maybe not 40, maybe like 4 or 5 times. When you could have just purchased a $50 something, a $50 100% silk, a $30 100% cotton, a $40 wool blend. Like, the quality of the materials matter, and then the way that you take care of them. So if you make the investment, also make the investment to take care of those things. You make the investment in hair tools at home, like I have one of those hooded dryers, use it and take care of it. If you make the investment into any particular type of clothes, wash your clothes. I hang dry most of my clothes. I don't have many of my clothes that actually go through the dryer, and it's because, again, I'm trying to protect the investment that I made, right? And so many of us, we put ourselves in the hole because we're constantly buying things that we could have just spent good money on the first time. And even if you have to budget for it, because that's another thing with this concept of just delayed gratification. When I'm shopping for gaps in my wardrobe, I have a wish list. And I am not buying anything that doesn't meet that wish list. Sometimes I do have, like the brown dress that I got was an impulse buy, but it was justified. Now, what I mean by having a wish list and delayed gratification, on my wish list right now, let's pull it. Oh, it's on this phone. I know it's a skirt and it's a pair of gray slacks, like not necessarily slacks, but a pair of gray pants. It is some other stuff. That has been on my wish list since earlier this year. And it's still on my wish list because I haven't found a pair that I really like. And so part of this conversation is also when you get something, if I'm going to spend $50 on something, especially if it's brand new or more than that, shouldn't I like it?
Yeah, you should love it. You should be like, I absolutely love these pants. These are my favorite.
I should love it. You said I just finally got the FHT blow dryer once, $90. And guess what? It's going to do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
So part of this conversation is making that investment. And again, even with your wardrobe, y'all know how much I thrift. When I go and I have my wish list, I will go thrifting because there's so much that you can find in the thrift store that will meet your standard, and you get a good quality for the discount. Like don't shy away from these things. And when you go thrifting, it's okay to get the little Shein and the this and the that if that's what you're into. But also make it a habit to look for the good quality materials. Like look for the good pair of jeans. Look for the good quality materials. Look for the cottons, the wools, the blazers that are actually vintage. And bring those things home because you have to spend your money anyway. So why not make it a productive spend? Why not make it something that's worth the investment for you so that you can be like, I like my wardrobe and I don't have to go shopping every single month because my clothes are getting worn. And it goes from you have this wardrobe and now you're just shopping for gaps. You're just replacing items. You're just getting something that you really liked and you had your eyes on for a little while. And even that will help y'all because I don't know how much y'all are spending when you shop, but I used to shop every month. $100, $200 on shopping for what?
Yeah.
For what? You don't need that many clothes, right? If you want it, go for it. If you can account for it in your budget, go for it. But I'm saying for me, I didn't need that because I was wearing the same clothes anyway. So why you got all these clothes? You don't need to be wearing them.
Right. And that's another thing I also learned is like going out shopping now. I always ask myself this question in the fitting room, like, do you love it? Are you like so excited that you're dancing like, oh girl, yes, I need this dress. Oh, this is so good.
Yes.
Or are you like, if you're like, maybe I'll buy it, but let me lose another 15 pounds and then let me wear it. You're never going to wear that dress. Like, love it. Love it. If you're going to buy it, love it. And then if you don't love it, don't buy it. And that's another thing before we go out too far on a tangent is dressing for our body shape and our body size. Like, because sometimes we can see things on the internet and be like, oh my God, that dress looks so good. But like, it may not favor us. Like, let's just be real. There's certain types of clothes that really favor different body types. Me, I'm petite and curvy. So I can't wear everything. I look crazy in some stuff. So knowing that as well and saying like finding out your style and sticking to that too. To say, okay, well, I do need this type of pants or I need the high-waisted jeans. And that's the only thing that looks good, not the low-waisted. So that we're not just like wasting money trying stuff. Like I feel like the upfront just investment of knowing yourself and knowing what looks good on you is definitely going to save money as well.
And have a tailor because some stuff I've noticed you have to, this comes with time, y'all, time and practice. Sometimes you don't like it because like for me, jeans will always fit, but they're huge in the waist. But I've learned, okay, put them on and kind of pull them in at the waist because you know Kelly is going to go ahead and tailor them for you, right? Mm-hmm. So have that in mind too, like thinking about that when you see something that you really like. Is it because of the fit? Is it inappropriate? And do you think that you can get it tailored if necessary? But again, that all goes into personal style. That even goes when my killer walked away. I mentioned about not being a victim of consumerism. Don't hate capitalism. Don't be like, I'm never going to buy anything. But don't be consumerism,
Mhm.
consumerism. I'm a victim. I buy everything I see. I get what the influencers get because sometimes that stuff is not going to fit and favor you the way that you want it to.
Yeah. And newsflash, as an influencer, some of the stuff we get is gifted. We're not buying all the things. Like, not everything that we have that you see an influencer have is actually something that they bought too. So let's just clear that up too. That it's not always that, we bought the thing. So no, that's really, really good. Okay, so the 5 things, we're gonna go back over 1 through 4 before we end off on the
Number
last
one.
one.
Remember number one.
Yes. What was number 1? Yes, so we have assess the mess. So if you're trying to get your finances in order, you're trying to get a grip, girl. Get a grip, girl. Number 1, assess the mess. Number 2, damage control. Stop the bleed. Stop the crazy spending. Stop using the credit cards. Freeze them if you have to. Number 3, create a new system, aka a budget. Number 4, commit for 90 days. And then number 5 is going to be analyze to thrive. So looking back at how you did for the month, almost like being your own accountability partner. So at the beginning of the month, on the first of the month, no first of the month needs to pass without you having a budget set. It cannot get to the second of the month and you say, I don't have a budget. No. That budget needs to be made by the last few days of the month or by the first of the month. So right now it's the 28th. That means if you have time and you laying with your feet up today, you at home kiki and chilling, girl, go ahead and make that budget for the month of December. The month of December is such a month that people spend money just impulsively. We're buying gifts. We're just doing the most. We just buying because it's in a buying spirit. And then we turn around in January and we're like, whoa, look at my bank statements. Look at my credit cards.
Look at my money.
Yeah. Where did it all go? So before you even get into December, and I'm going to give y'all some tips for the holiday budget as well. These are a few things that you can add to your holiday budget for the month of December. You want to add in gift buying. So setting up a certain budget for how much are you going to spend in gifts. We're not just going to just frivolously go and buy stuff that we see. We're going to say, okay, boom, we have $1,000 for the month that we're going to spend on gifts. That means that includes everybody, husband, kids, mama, brother, sister, everybody. And then you're going to divvy up how much you're going to spend on each person so that you can stay on track. And so with you making your budget for the month, by the end of the month, that's why I was saying that you have to be able to go through your statements. You have to be able to go through your accounts to see like, okay, well, did I stick to that? Like, how close did I stick? And it's not even about being perfect and saying 10% of my money was supposed to go to automobile stuff and then like I went 11%. No, like sometimes things happen, right? And you have to go spend that. Everybody getting a $10 gift card. Easy peasy. And I'm going to give you another one. The gift exchange, the white elephant, that's a money saver. Because you're not buying nothing for everybody in the office. You're buying one gift and you're doing a gift exchange. So that too, like, that's why I would always participate in those. They're like, oh, let's do white eggplant. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I got to buy one $25 gift and everybody's happy. Everybody get a gift.
And I will add, y'all, because don't be pressured into getting gifts.
That's it.
I don't celebrate it. Great for you if you do. I ain't giving you nothing either, right? So It's not because I'm trying to be cheap. It is a genuine practice spiritually, like I abstain from. And so if you're in that position, or even if maybe you do celebrate it, right? But you just don't have the money. You ain't got the money, you ain't got the money. Don't go broke trying to celebrate something. Don't go broke trying to feel included. And if you don't have money and you want to give gifts, please get creative, y'all. I have given people, not even just for this holiday season, but in general, I've baked things and wrapped it up really pretty. I've created things with my hands, wrapped it up really pretty. Like everything doesn't have to be a go out and buy if you press the cash. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. It's sometimes it's the pressure. Even like I've had a scenario where I didn't plan on getting somebody a gift, but then they give me a gift and I'm like, crap, they spent $50. I got to go spend $50 too. Like now we're in like a competition of like, oh, you bought this, I bought this, and now you're like buying stuff that you never planned for, which is why I also say with your closest friends and family, don't be afraid to have those conversations. I always say last Christmas, I let my family know, hey, I'm pregnant. We just had a gender reveal 2 weeks ago. We're not doing gifts this year. Like we just spent our holiday money last month throwing a party. So please don't get us a gift. We're not going to be buying gifts this year. And guess what? Everybody sat out. Everybody, for the most part, some of them were inspired and they didn't spend as much as they normally do. So
Yeah.
even have those conversations, like tell your homegirl, like, hey girl, like, I'm on my budget this year, I'm sitting this one out, but maybe next year you can participate and be okay with having those conversations. Because if not, the pressure and the people pleasing can cause you to like make decisions that are going to kind of put you further into the hole where you weren't intending to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. It makes sense.
Yes. So I think we did good analyzing to thrive, just basically looking back over like how you did for the month, and just keeping yourself accountable, and then just rinse and repeat. The next month comes, you have a new budget. Certain times of the year have different like things that are required of you. So a lot of moms will say like, man, August is my month where I just spend all my money, all my kids' birthdays in August, my husband, my mama. That's the month I just go broke. Like we have this running joke as moms, like that's that month that like you're gonna spend some money. But then the following month, you may not have much that you gotta buy. So that's why it's a thing for a month to month basis so that you can look ahead and say, ooh, I have this thing coming up. Ooh, I have this like happy boss day at my job. Let me make sure I allocate $10 to give to my boss and buy him a new mug or whatever. Like think ahead into the month so that you will be prepared and less likely that you're caught off guard, because life will catch you off guard enough. So try to have as much as you can already kind of mentally and written down, planned out for the month.
And then how do you handle, I think this is a good question. How do you handle those mishaps between the month, right? So let's say you set the budget, but you ain't stick to the budget. And November was a wild month. And now you're going into December. Like, how do you navigate that without feeling guilty, without automatically saying, well, dang, I done overspent. I can't spend this money on this. Like, how do you now handle that situation going forward?
Well, we are in an abundance mindset. So a lot of times it's, how can I make the money? Like, how can I make some more money if I overspent? It's either I'm going to take it out of another category, like maybe a going out category, like I may not go out as much the following month, or two, I'm be like, okay, you did a lot last month. You need to figure out how to make this amount by tomorrow. And what are we going to do? How are we going to generate more income? Because I will say with the rising cost of everything and inflation, sometimes we're at our capacity. Like we just don't make enough to then put 1,000 in the savings every single month. But you can make 1,000. And I'll just give y'all a few hacks right now. Myron Golden talks about this all the time. Look around your house, and I'm doing that this weekend, y'all. Today's my birthday, but me and my husband, we are going through this house and we're listing stuff on Facebook Marketplace. We don't want to go into the new year with a bunch of clutter and things that we're not using anymore, and somebody else can use these things that are still like new items and just list them so that we can bring some income into our family. Sell some stuff. Go around your house. Yes, we love Myron Golden over here. We love him.
We love Myron.
Okay. We love Myron.
And I'm gonna tell y'all, there was one month when I got on Poshmark, and I probably would have made more on just Facebook Marketplace alone, but Poshmark is kind of faster. I made $600 just on stuff that was around my house in 1 month, just getting rid of stuff. This was when I first got into decluttering. Like, this is too much, y'all.
You're teaching me.
It's there. Also, if you have a car, I wouldn't recommend doing this on a regular basis. I know some people that have done it and they just do it a lot and they make a lot of money. But I think it puts a lot of wear and tear on your car. Remember, I told y'all I did Walmart Spark for 2 weeks, $1,200. I didn't even do it a full 2. It wasn't no full all day either. $1,200, 2 weeks, right? Those ride share things. It's not gonna. You just have to be creative. Because not everything is going to work for you, but there are ways. I wanted to add that to the...
Absolutely. We live in a digital time, and I do have like older family that's like, man, if I was in your time, like we could have made so much money. We're in a place like now where we can make so much money from our phones if we just apply ourselves. So figure out how you're going to make some extra money. If you don't want your holiday money to come out of like your regular budget, just go out and make some money in the next couple months. The next couple weeks. And then that way, when it's time to spend it, it's almost like it washes itself and you're not dipping into like your actual regular budget. Yeah. So good stuff. Good stuff.
Y'all, this is not going to help you this month, but if you take it into consideration, this thing is coming up. If you take it into consideration for next year, what you can do, and this is something my mom used to work at a company that had a service where they would automatically pull the money from your paychecks and put it in the assigned category. They did it for holidays. They knew that these were mostly single mothers and they had to get gifts for their kids for the holidays. If you know that that's going to be a problem for you next year, just like we talked about these separate accounts, you can set up some type of automation and it would be so low pressure because now you're going to have a year. So set up some type of automation where they're taking $10, $20 out of every paycheck and just setting it aside to that particular account that you don't have a card, you're not moving it. The money just goes into that account. If it accumulates interest, great. But now $10, $20 every week is 52 weeks in a year, right? You can have all of your holiday money right there when you need it, or whatever else you want to save for. Like I said, it's not going to help you going into this December, but that's something to definitely keep in mind for planning ahead and just sticking to it. And don't put it off because you don't need it right now.
Right. Okay. I do that for vacations as well. Like if you know you want to spend some money on a cruise or something, you know it's next year, like, okay, let's start moving money over. That's when we get into things like sinking funds. So of course we are going to be going live again in the future, and we'll probably do another part 2, but kind of get into like more detailed tips and tricks. So we can talk about those things in the future, but just look up sinking funds and you'll kind of see what I mean. But yes, y'all, this was really good.
We're definitely getting back on because this isn't everything, but but this was a good start because again, y'all, we always talk about this conversation of femininity, and we focus so much on looking pretty. We focus so much on presenting ourselves as appearing like a woman, right? But there's so much more that goes into that. There's so much more of our womanhood that is not just what we see and how we present ourselves. It's the things that influence the way that we speak. It's the things that influence the way that we act. It's the things that influence how angry we can get. And a lot of the times the underlying stress is money.
That's it.
Right? So we definitely have to make sure that as women, we are exercising responsibility in our finances so that we can live this soft, feminine life, right? So we definitely want to get on here and talk about that. We are going to have Feminine Friday every week. Okay? It might be Michaela again next week. We don't know. You know, we haven't had that conversation yet. But we are going to be doing this every single week where we want to talk about these different topics and really help us to walk forward in our womanhood and to feel confident in that process. And I know, when is your next webinar?
Ooh, we got to put one on the calendar. It's probably going to be sometime in December, if not like top of the year. But I want to get everybody ready before the 1st. So,
because you know.
Yeah.
New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna get my money together. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, those New Year's resolutions start coming, so we.
You're right.
We don't want to just make it.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, y'all follow Michaela so you can know when it comes up because she's gonna post it and let y'all know what's going on. You're welcome.
Thank y'all so much. Yeah, we just love pouring into y'all. We talk about this stuff all the time anyway, so we might as well just share it with y'all too. I hope that y'all have something y'all can take and implement and try out, and then come back and let us know. Be like, girl, I tried that little hack you told us and it worked. I saved $500. Like, we love to hear about it. So just come back and tell us. Send us a DM. Put it in our comment section. Let us know, like, if something that you learned really helped you. That means the world. It really does.
Yeah, I agree. So definitely let us know. I'm gonna hop back on here briefly, just to chat with y'all about something. But definitely go follow Michaela because she talks about this stuff all the time. Like,
thank you, Nishan, so much for having me. This was fun.
It was, right? I know you gotta go get baby together. So I'm, like I said, y'all, I'm gonna hop off. I want to figure out how to save this video and then I'll hop back on because I don't want to lose this. I didn't know that you could save the video, so I'm not trying to figure that out. If there's a way for us to save it, I will definitely download it. If not, I don't know.
You gotta catch us live. Turn the post notifications on.
I don't know, girl. I don't know. But it was a pleasure, girl. I'm gonna text you because
Okay. Yeah, we'll text. We'll talk. Bye, y'all. Hope y'all enjoy y'all's day and your weekend.
Have a good Friday. Happy birthday, my girl.
Thank you. Bye, y'all. Bye.